Hi guys, and welcome to VERBA channel. And today I have a very special guest, Irene.
Hi there.
Irene is my English teacher, my colleague, and my very good friend. And today we will talk a little bit about the mistakes that Ukrainians do in English.
Make.
Today we are going to talk a little bit about what?
About mistakes that my Ukrainian students make.
Like me. Yeah.
Probably first and foremost is that in Ukrainian we do not distinguish short and long sounds, and that's why we've got some problems. Students cannot feel the difference and they do not pronounce the words correctly. Do you have any ideas? Like, do you notice that you do not
Maybe
do
like
that?
bad. Like bad and
Okay, it sounds
bad.
like the place
Yeah.
where you sleep, right?
Yeah.
Not bad, like like not a good guy, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I constantly, honestly, confuse that.
Like the air sound, like you need to smile to pronounce
Bad.
it correctly, like
Uh-huh.
bad.
This is the
like-
place to sleep.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. And then not a
bad.
good person, it's like bad guy, right?
Bad guy.
If we talk about the British English, right? In the American English, it's a bit different.
Oh wow.
Hmm?
So much to learn.
In our yesterday's class, we had a problem with the sound, like th sound. Ukrainians do not distinguish like this voiced sound and like voiceless sound. And in schools, we were taught to pronounce it with the tongue out, like yeah, but it's not the right way actually. To pronounce that sound correctly, you need to put your tongue like on your upper teeth. Yeah,
Like
for example,
towels,
say
yeah?
month.
Month.
Yeah, and keep your mouth inside, please.
Month.
Yes. So you
Month.
see, we've got the problem here, right?
Exactly.
Yes, but surely you can fix it, like when you understand what's happening inside of your mouth. With some
Month.
practice,
Okay.
I
Yeah, she
believe
was
in you.
torturing us at the lesson yesterday about months and clothes. Yeah, we don't have
No.
that sound in Ukrainian, so it's much easier actually, guys, for you if you learn Ukrainian.
surely we've also got like the problem between like this W, like W sound, and V sound.
W,
Again,
V.
different position in our mouth. Like W, you need to round your lips. W, for example,
W.
one, right? It's not
Where?
one. It's different,
Yeah.
right? And when you want to pronounce this V sound, you need to take your upper lips and put them
V.
like even like
V. V.
yeah,
V.
like vanity.
Vanity. What is vanity?
We will talk about it later. That's not the point.
Actually, this is interesting because basically in Ukrainian we have quite similar sound, and we guys talked about it in one of my recent videos. I will attach it somewhere here. In Ukrainian we have sound V and W for this letter V. And it depends on the position of this letter in the word, because sometimes in the words like учитель we need to say W sound, which is very close to the English sound for letter W. And just not all Ukrainians basically know about it, because again we had very strong influence of the Russian language that doesn't have the sound for many years and decades, and that is why we are going back to it right now. But that's very interesting.
Okay, may I practice that one?
Of course.
Okay, so I say like
Учитель.
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 Учитель. Okay.
Учитель.
Okay, I
Учора.
didn't pronounce that correctly.
You see? Mistakes
I need to
exchange.
some like advanced classes. Right? Maybe the last point in this like pronunciation section. This is the stress and intonation. In Ukrainian, it's like very different from English, right?
Indeed.
We are like very straight, and probably foreigners like find us very rude because of that. And like I don't know, like we do not look friendly, we do not sound friendly, right, when we say that. But in English, we have like different intonations, like rise, fall, and so on.
Yeah, like the stress on actual nouns, for
Yes,
example.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
not
When it comes to the sentence stress, we've got like content words, which are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and so on. And we've got feature words like auxiliaries, prepositions,
yeah.
right? Like different words. So we do not stress them.
That's interesting because recently on one of my lessons we were practicing also intonations, but actually question intonation with my students, and for them it was also very different because in Ukrainian you may have like one question sentence that looks the same, but different intonations change the meaning of the questions. Like у тебе є машина? У тебе є машина? Like it's about absolutely different things. I also have the video. Food.
So we won't go on food.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is the difference, and these are mistakes from which you may learn a little bit of Ukrainian.
Okay, let's continue and talk about spelling. Mostly I teach higher levels, which are from B2 plus and higher. And I do have several intermediate students, and they struggle a lot with spelling, especially when they see the word and they like it's written like in one way, but when they need to pronounce it, it's a completely like it's the opposite. And for example, like I noted some of them. Probably the most painful is the group of through, thought, though, thorough, and they're like, what the heck, like, oh my gosh, what's happening, like, what's the logic? And sorry, no logic, like, English is all about exceptions.
You know, when I was at school, I'm sorry for interrupting, we were trying to memorize this kind of words like this, throw, for example,
Yes.
or something like
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah, this was the only way to memorize that, how to write it.
Yeah. When I learned how to write those, I also like pronounced that like that in my mind, like back at Lyceum, university.
And it actually works.
Yes, it works. Also, when we've got like some silent letters, like which we do not pronounce, like no, and some of my students like pronounce them like kno, you know, instead of no.
Recently, I had first time in my practice when the student asked regarding the word kniha in Ukrainian, should it be pronounced like niha or kniha? Because yeah, it's logical to meet this question from an English speaker actually.
Yes, and that's okay when your like first language dominates. Like you took some rules from the first language to the second one. The same with doubt, right? Some of my students want to pronounce the doubt, but it's not like that. And my favorite is the word tiny, which which is pronounced like teeny, but by some of my students, and I find it very
Teeny.
funny. Yeah, because that word looks like teeny, you know, it's not tiny, it's teeny.
So correct one is tiny.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I'm right. Okay, that one I know.
No need to go on the incorrect version. Yeah, it's tiny.
So here I have good news for you guys, because when you learn Ukrainian, in Ukrainian we do not have such a mess as in English, at least in this part. And mostly what you hear exactly like this you write. There are a few exceptions, like the sound w. For example, if you hear it, sometimes you may write v, sometimes u. And also with the affricate ща, like in the words що, щодня, борщ. There is like two sounds, sh, ch, but we express it with one letter, sh.
Yeah. I actually had to teach myself like the correct sound, because I pronounce it like borщ. And it should be like borscht.
Soft one.
Borscht,
Yeah, that's a very common mistake, again, because of the influence of the Russian language, where this sh is soft. Ukrainian sh should be always like this.
Yes, it's like a diphthong.
Yeah, a couple times I even said it in English, like should be. Should be.
Oh my gosh. And then we've got third category, which is punctuation. Like, it's not a big problem for my students, but sometimes they do add some excessive punctuation. For example, in complex sentences, like, I think that you should blah, blah, blah. Some of my students put comma after I think, because we do that in Ukrainian, right?
Yeah, it's very logical, because in Ukrainian, if you have a complex sentence with two subjects, two predicates, you will always put comma between them. Yeah, so that's what I do. And on contrary, when in English you write like In this video, we will talk about something you need to put comma, and I never put it, and my Grammarly always like corrects me.
Or at last we managed
Yeah.
to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I think in general, like the Ukrainian punctuation is more complex than English.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. We have a lot of these
Symbols.
vodní slova, etc. Like, yeah, it's. But I think that when you studying English, sorry, Ukrainian, then you're not supposed to know all of it because it's more like for Ukrainians, really.
And if you study English for speaking, right, you do not need to do the writing, then what's the point, right?
Yeah.
Of course, like the most curious students can manage to learn that on their own, but
Again, it's okay to make mistakes, and we may learn on our mistakes, so.
So the fourth category, probably the biggest one, is grammar. And here we've got a lot of differences because English is an analytical language, like we create new meanings with the help of new words and prepositions. And Ukrainian is synthetic, right? And we have a lot of different affixes, like prefixes, suffixes. We change the verb, right?
Conjugation, cases, all of that.
So it's more like it's closer to the Greek language, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But probably the biggest problem is the tenses. Like we've got quite a lot of them in English.
12?
Yes.
In Ukrainian we have just 3, just past, present and future. But here we also have the aspect of verb that creates at least 2 additional tenses, like future perfect, past perfect. But still it's not 12. Yeah, so it's a little bit easier for you guys.
And it's very difficult for my students to distinguish between the past simple, the present perfect, and they might end up saying things like, I still didn't finish this book, you know, but like it's not the past yet, right? It's kind of connected.
It sounds like quite fast.
Yes, so better to use like the present perfect in this
present
case.
Perfect, past perfect. This is the part where I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it took me a while, you know, to learn those, and we actually should start from that. So check the lexical grammar approach. Okay, what else? Articles, right? This is the thing that, you know, a lot of Ukrainians ignore and just say, I am accountant,
because we don't always understand them. Okay, sometimes I keep in mind that a is something indefinite, and the like definite. I show my tongue again. Anyway, sometimes when you speak fast, you just you are lost because you need to keep it in memory, and we don't have nothing like that in Ukrainian, so it's very difficult.
Yeah, but still, when you're speaking like quickly, you do not pronounce that because these articles they become like a schwa sound, like for example, I'm an accountant, so it's not that like stressed, right?
It reminded me of the song.
And also, a lot of native speakers like omit those. Like I have a friend from Oxford, and she told me like, yesterday I cooked fish pie, and I was like, sorry, where is your article? And she says, I don't feel that it's needed. Like, who cares? Yes.
Yeah, why do you need it? Yeah, you understood everything from the sentence.
So I'm very puzzled about that one.
Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it could be like, why should be there here? But yeah, that's okay. We will do our best,
especially with the names of the countries.
Yeah,
right?
and with all those geographical names, names of planets.
And please stop saying the Ukraine. It's Ukraine without an article, right?
This is definitely
important. Yesterday's mistake that Max made, right? Conditional sentences. Please, just find a table and learn the difference between these 3 types of conditional sentences. If she will come, I will tell her. We do not need this double will, right?
Yeah, in Ukrainian actually we would say double, I think. Коли вона прийде, я їй скажу. Скажу, it's like perfective future, but it's still future. So, yeah. Або ми будемо читати щось. We will be reading something. Yeah, so we definitely use twice.
The last category is vocabulary, and it's my favorite. What about you? Is it your favorite?
Like, yeah, you need to learn so much.
Yes, yeah, because English is all about the collocations, chunks, and it's very important to focus on the vocabulary. Regarding the mistakes, my students like to translate the things from Ukrainian into English, and then they end up saying, how do you think? And I say, with my brain.
That's my favorite, actually.
Because in Ukrainian, how is like yak is how, and like we even do not think that it's possible to say what do you think? Not
because
like
in Ukrainian you literally say how do you think? Як ви думаєте?
Or how do you call it? Right?
Як
not
це
what do you call
називається?
it.
Так, so
Yes.
як. So we translate як to how, and we use it wrong in English as a result.
There is the topic of like lexical verbs, and they confuse a lot. Like, what's the difference between do and make, right?
Oh,
We do mistakes, we make mistakes. Like, what's the correct version? The same with like say, tell, learn, teach, lend, and borrow. You know, they cannot feel the difference.
Yeah, regarding land, borrow, teach, learn would be the same in Ukrainian, I think, because we have many verbs that are similar to each other and very easy to confuse. But regarding verbs to do and to make, I have great news for you, because we have just the verb робити, and you may use it in any situation, which is very cool. Yeah, just don't confuse it with працювати, which means to work.
Again, translating from Ukrainian, I am agree, because in Ukrainian, agree is an adjective, right? Like я згодна, я згоден. But in English, it's actually a verb. Still, my students like keep putting this to be inside. And my favorite, I'm feeling myself good. Please stop saying that, because that sounds awkward.
Yeah, because again, it's direct translation from Ukrainian, and in Ukrainian we say там я почуваюся with postfixia, which means like myself.
Like reflexive.
Well, yeah, like reflexive verb.
Yeah, just remember the song, like I feel good. That's what you need.
Exactly.
And then we've got false friends. It's like when you are asked, how are you? Please do not say I am normal, because normal it like means that you are mentally okay. Like you do not have any like mental illnesses. Just say like I'm okay, I'm fine, can't complain, could be better.
Not bad.
Yes. And some interesting words like accurate. We have like a similar word, which means neat. Like аккуратный is neat in English, but accurate in English means like точный, right? Like it's a bit different, like precise.
Or for example, sympathy.
Sympathy.
Sympatичный, it's
yes,
like beautiful.
Yes, but it's different. Like sympathy.
Yeah, and in English
it's like when you feel sorry for.
Yeah, like
for
empathy,
some,
close to empathy.
For
Yeah, false friends, they always exist in between different languages, and it's important to be attentive with them. So yeah. I think that's all.
Yes.
Yeah. So
thank you for being with us.
Yeah. We've discussed 5 categories, and I hope that our Ukrainian subscribers will find out something new for them, and that our subscribers who learn Ukrainian on this channel will also catch some ideas and will understand at first why Ukrainians make these mistakes. Make these mistakes.
Yeah, correct.
And maybe to learn something from it for their Ukrainian, because language shows our logic, our view to the world, and it's different, and it's beautiful that it's different, and it's cool to explore it.
Yeah, so be conscious and raise your language awareness.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Irene.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, and maybe share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.